Game Changers. And we have about 15 minutes left. Thank you. Please begin by introducing yourself.
Madam Chair Rucker, Madam Chair Rowan, members of the committee, I'm Joe Boczek, and on behalf of the entire West Virginia Game Changers Incorporated 501c3 Board of Directors, I sincerely thank you for allowing me to speak to you this morning. We are at a crossroads, not only in West Virginia, but the entire nation. All of us share an obligation to ensure our children and teenagers have every opportunity to exist in a positive environment full of love and support. Sadly, dissension and despair has become too familiar in the lives of the youth of our state. The opioid crisis requires a full-spectrum response with prevention, education, and community-specific programs being at the top of the list. We must change the game, and failure is not an option, as this very future of a productive West Virginia lies in the balance. The time for survey after survey, study after study, and statistical regurgitation has passed. Notebooks and binders don't hold the answer to our problem. Caring people and caring communities do. The time has come to move forward with proactivity and the largest public-private coalition in this state's history. We must join to truly change the game. Team, together everyone accomplishes more. We face many challenges, from the opioid crisis to vaping, methamphetamines, tobacco, and alcohol abuse. We must be careful not to fall into the trap of prioritizing one over the other, as they all threaten the future well-being of our youth. It's no secret, we just heard, that the foster parenting program is on overload and is in a crisis itself. Just 2 weeks ago, Aetna Better Health of West Virginia was awarded a $200 million contract to manage the health care for thousands of foster children in our state. We applaud this proactive effort and look forward to partnering with Aetna, because these children face challenges that require a community to care and support for them. My passion for this is personal. My daughter was a first-team All-State basketball player here in West Virginia who continued her athletic career in college. Early in her freshman year, an upperclassman gave her a pill and a drink of beer, which led to a 3-year heroin addiction, putting our family through a hell you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. Thankfully, through the grace of God, numerous caring and loving people, and a desire to get her life back, she's been clean for 9 years and is gainfully employed and helping others with substance abuse issues. I myself have suffered through addiction, developing a drinking problem while I was sports information director at West Virginia University. Again, I was fortunate to have friends who not only cared but had the financial ability to put me in a treatment facility, beginning my 22-year sobriety from alcohol. Even with the extensive treatment and knowledge, addiction reared its ugly head to me again just 4 years ago. After having rotator cuff surgery and without an in-depth consideration of my personal and family history related to addiction, I developed a 3-week addiction to opioid painkillers. You would have thought my background, education, experience would have prevented such an occurrence, but it didn't. After spending 3 of the most awful days of my life going cold turkey to rid myself of this dastardly addiction, I vowed to do whatever I could to help eliminate it forever. Please remember, my addiction occurred just after 2 weeks taking opioids. Can you imagine the challenge to someone who's been on them for years? We were lucky our story had a happy ending, at least for today. We were fortunate because we were educated to know where the best help was and possessed the ability to pay for that help. Unfortunately, many in our situation are not as fortunate or tragically are not alive to seek help. This disease does not discriminate. It's attacking with a vengeance and destroying our family unit, which is the very core of our society. Families are being destroyed, our foster parenting program is busting at the seams, and our children are facing a future without one or both parents. Grandparents are being forced to spend their golden years raising their grandchildren instead of enjoying visits from them. The holidays are upon us, and the time has come for children, youth, and teenagers to enjoy all the glory and excitement of the season. The smell of turkey in the oven, hunting with Dad, decorating the tree with the anticipation of the magic of Christmas morning, baking with Mom, visiting Santa, watching bowl games or Christmas specials on TV with family. All the warm, reminiscent experiences many of us hold dear will not be part of too many households affected by opioid and substance use disorder. Children need to experience the joy of the holidays rather than the suffering, the sadness, and anxiety that has become too prevalent in households affected by substance use disorder. This vicious cycle must stop, and it must stop now. I come before you not with all the answers, nor do I come here this morning with a desire to invade anyone's turf or step where it's perceived I don't belong. Rather, I come here to ask for your support, your insights, the promise to do whatever it takes, and most importantly, your blessing. And I come here with a plan for game changers to truly change the game in West Virginia for decades. I stand before you and propose we build the biggest, best, and brightest coalition with a goal of launching an offensive to truly and unequivocally change the game forever. We must think out of the box and be proactive. We must join as a community that includes the private, philanthropic, and public sectors, capitalizing on strengths of each. This huge initiative began with the West Virginia Secondary Schools Athletic Commission and is strongly supported by its Executive Director, Bernie Dolan, as well as the superintendents, principals, and guidance counselors of its member schools throughout the state. We have been endorsed by the West Virginia Sheriff's Association, have received extensive guidance and support from the West Virginia Department of Education, and have been made part of its Reclaim WV effort. We continue to always seek the help and expertise and financial support from the West Virginia Department of Health and Human Resources, and have welcomed the assistance offered by the privately funded West Virginia Drug Intervention Institute housed at the University of Charleston. Marshall and West Virginia University, as well as Pierpont Technical College, have joined the Game Changer movement with proposed education initiatives. Game Changers begins with prevention education. Why? Because it's without question a central facet of this massive initiative, and if successful, will result in a drastic reduction in opioid and substance misuse. Game Changers will concentrate on programs in peer resiliency. We must promote a social norm among today's youth who are influenced by what we see and know that their peers are doing. Promoting a social norm that's based on healthy and drug-free lifestyle is a critical first step in the Game Changers movement. We must build resiliency because stress and trauma are the leading triggers to destructive behavior to today's youth. By focusing on proven models that strengthen functions of the developing prefrontal cortex, individuals can be given the ingredients to enhance their resiliency in the face of adversity. Without detailed programs in prevention and prevention education in all our schools and communities, we will fail. As a football game begins with a kickoff, our Game Changer initiative kicked off September 17, 18th with opioid awareness summits at West Virginia University and Marshall University. This was just the start of our game, as 6 summits for middle and high school students are being planned for September and October 2020 in 6 regions in the state, focusing on prevention education. In addition, plans are calling for summits for young children in grades kindergarten through 3rd grade, using a prevention character, Rex the RX, as well as puppets in a Sesame Street-themed event aimed at what statistics reflect are the most impressionable age group. We've already formed a nationwide search committee to vet and identify speakers for summits in 2020, while we will also include at least 2 of the speakers, Rhonda Schertino and Sean Derrick, from the recent summits because of their ability to keep the students totally engaged. We are also working with them and other groups to identify speakers with the same ability. Keeping the students focused is obviously one of the main ingredients to not only getting the message across, but making sure it stays with them after they depart. At the last two summits, the speakers received hundreds of heartfelt emails, and we are currently developing a system which can coordinate the most effective response, particularly for those with high needs. Confidentiality and safety are paramount to the response system, and we place the priority on these considerations. In addition, with the help of the Department of Education and the WVSSAC, we're instituting a follow-up program for all schools with a number of goals, including message consistency, message reinforcement, message updates as supported by best practices to better equip teachers, guidance counselors, and other administrative staff with any new information which becomes available. While Game Changers recognizes prevention to be the central component to the success of a plan, compassionate treatment availability, education and training opportunities, meaningful employment, and law enforcement support are paramount to the overall success of this movement. Many victims of the disease, opioid, and substance misuse have a strong desire to get and stay clean, but sadly they lack the ability to find, be admitted, and pay for meaningful and compassionate treatment, and also lack the education or training to gain meaningful employment when they do. We stand ready to support any citizen seeking help and a better life in order to ensure our children are given every opportunity to achieve any goal, pursue any career, take on any challenge, and have a healthy, happy, and enjoyable drug-free life. Without the opportunity for compassionate treatment, proper education or training, and finding meaningful employment, even those with high hopes for permanent sobriety face an uphill battle and are likely to return to using, allowing the vicious cycle to continue. Through a continued corporate relationship with Walmart, which was renewed just last week for at least 2020, Game Changers will be able to provide guidance to individuals seeking a better and improved life through compassionate treatment, training, and employment. Walmart, in conjunction with Game Changers, Inc., will be developing programs to assist with job training and employment while we continue to identify treatment options to help individuals begin the journey to a healthier and more protective life. Educationally, Game Changers will work with West Virginia, Marshall, and Pierpont Technical College to develop opportunities for individuals to pursue, complete technical 2- and 4-year degree programs. Game Changers has already received interest nationally from California to Nevada to Washington to Alabama. West Virginia stands at the forefront of a movement which can and will drastically reduce, if it will not eliminate the crisis, but can also set the standard in which all others will be judged. Personally, as a 37-year resident of this state, I'm sick and tired of the negativity so many people direct at us, and I'm bound to determine that through the Game Changer movement, we show the nation just what we're capable of. The challenge we face is a daunting one, but one group of dedicated and caring people, including board of directors, corporate partners, educational institutions, and public agencies, are willing to take. The future of our state and our nation is at stake. Your support and guidance, as well as any recommendations for the pursuit of grants and any other financial assistance, will be greatly appreciated. But above all, the blessing of this committee is the most desired component we desire moving forward. On behalf of the Board of Directors of WV Game Changers, Inc., thank you for not only affording me this opportunity this morning, but thank you for the time you spend helping the children and families of West Virginia. Your work does not go unnoticed.
Thank you so very much. We do have a few minutes for questions, if anyone has any. Wait, don't leave. Okay. Okay. Delegate from the 18th.
All right. Thank you, Chairwoman. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you being here. As you know, I was at the summit at Marshall University, but it wasn't about me. My 13-year-old son was there with his school, and it's been 2 months. He can still tell me about Chris Herron's story and how crazy Sean Derrick was. And this is what we talk about, prevention. This is where we need to start, right? As Commissioner Mullen stated earlier, this is an investment that you're not going to see an immediate return on, but it's a 30-year, 40-year investment to have better citizens, better parents, reduction in healthcare costs because we don't have people that are, hopefully not using. I've really invested some time and research into West Virginia Game Changers, and I believe in what you do, Joe, and I appreciate what you and the Board of Directors are doing. The most important thing, which is the follow-up, which we talked about. You can't do one and dones, right? So I'm excited to hear what you presented with the follow-up programs you have next year, the new summits, and especially the training for the teachers and counselors and admin staff. And I applaud your work, Joe, and I look forward to working with you in the future.
I really appreciate that.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
I definitely second that, and I just want to ask, do you have plans to be statewide? I mean, I know you're trying to do regional.
Yes, I mean, we're using the conduit of the WVSSAC, the Department of Education, hopefully the DHHR, and to get all the help we can get. You know, we're not specialists. I'm not a specialist. I'm a marketer, I'm an advertiser, I'm a promoter. But we have the conduit through the public and through the corporate help to facilitate all the good programs that are out there and that are going to be future out there, and to suggest things to the experts who have the ability to implement.
Well, I really appreciate what you guys are doing. I hope that you will update us and keep us informed, and especially if there's any way we can help. I mean, we've been talking so much about how to help those who have had addiction, but prevention is obviously going to be the, aim we need to have for the future.
We're very fortunate. The list of our board of directors is in the spiral bound book that I gave you all, and we're very fortunate to have a very strong board of directors from the education, the academic, and the athletic fields. I would like to just add one thing. There's a picture you'll see in the one with the staples of little boys, and my daughter's in there. Here's probably what underscores the issue. That gentleman in there was a great dad, and his wife was a great mom who got hooked on opioids. Both of them did. And they came out of treatment, and they came out trying as hard as they could to gain employment, to gain education, to be good parents, and they were really frustrated. The older little boy was an excellent baseball player, and he asked his dad, who was also a good baseball player at one time, for a glove, a certain glove. And he went to get it, and it was $150, and he couldn't afford it, and he got him one for $50. And he came back and told my daughter, he goes, my daddyhood really took a hit today. He goes, Evan, I saw the disappointment in his eyes when he didn't get that glove, but he hugged me and kissed me anyway. That night he went out and fell off the wagon and was laced with fentanyl, and he died. The mother, trying to hang with all that, died, overdosed 3 months later and died. My daughter and the grandmother are raising those two little boys right now. So, I think we all know that this is for real.
Yeah, we do. Thank you so
Thank
very much.
you very much. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Okay, unless there is any other business to come before the committee, I will recognize the Vice Chair for a motion.
I move we adjourn.
There has been a motion to adjourn.